Unnecessary intro song to totally waste your time. Alright, so here's what sucks about having new subscribers. What sucks is I have to sit here and think about new subscribers. You know? And when I didn't have any subscribers, and it's not like I got 1 million, come on, a few. And for the most part, the people that have come here, the algorithm has seemed to be like, pretty good match, you know? But in a way that kind of makes it worse, you know? Back when it was a bad match, I don't have to think about anybody. I was like, whatever. Who gives a fuck? Internet stranger. And of course, you're all still internet strangers, right? We don't know each other. You don't know me. I don't know you. Duh, right? We're not accountable to each other. We're not going to hold each other's hands walking down the beach. I'm probably not going to come over and punch out the guy that's trying to strangle your dog. You know, it's too far away. Wherever you are, you're too far. You got to find somebody else to help you with your dog. But the problem is now I'm thinking about that. And now look, I'm not an idiot. Well, I am. I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. I know that I posted this to the internet. I know that not only did I post it here, I also posted on Spotify and Facebook, you know? So I know that by doing that, I am making something public. So obviously there's this twinge of hope that somebody finds it and connects with it and whatever else happens. I honestly can't explain to you that. I tried to explain in a recent video that it's kind of like just like leaving a mark, a trace of existence, something. It's weird. Footprints in the mud, you know? My bones I guess I could just wait for my bones. I could hide myself in a cave when I die. That would probably accomplish this purpose too. Make a statue to myself somewhere. Hell, carving's fun. I'm pretty good at carving. You don't see many people, by the way, making giant sculptures of themselves. And quite frankly, if they did, I don't think I'd blame them. Like if I met a guy that was making a big marble statue of himself in his backyard, I'd probably think, I like that. You know? You're taking accountability for your own life. This is you. I like it better than him making a statue of George Washington or Jesus or Buddha. Anyway, that's kind of what I'm doing here. And normally I would just, when I have an opinion that I got to get out, here's my options. This is the way it works. It's like my options are make voicemails to people that I know, and then sit there and wait for them to respond, knowing that eventually they're going to hate my guts because I'm going to have an opinion that they don't like, and all the talking and the trying to reason and trying to find understanding with somebody, it's all just going to get flushed down the toilet when either they block me or I block them. It's like time investment. I have a number of even recent, air quotes, internet friends that I've done that with. Long sessions of sending voice notes back and forth. But there's no real accounting. There's no children involved. There's no walks down the beach. There's no shared mortgage or auto loans or any real entanglements. So it's just like when things get annoying and they say hurtful, mean things to you, you can just go, all right, flush, And I'm not going to stop leaving the voice notes for the people that I know. I do still. You think this channel's bad? Some of the people that know me have got to hear these fucking things in their own inboxes, you know? And some of them, thank God, I've got a few people that leave me the same voice notes back. In fact, some of these people, I think that they just leave me long notes. And when I leave long notes back, I don't think they even listen to them. I think they just leave them for me so that I will listen to them. You know? And that's kind of what I'm doing here. You know? I don't think that, well, okay, so here's the struggle, is the algorithm has brought what seem to be a lot of nice people here, right? And there are a lot of nice people in the world. But nice people also can be, and usually do, turn into dicks at some point, you know? Like, I try to be friendly, but I know that ultimately I'm a dick. I'm not looking for somebody to convince me that I eat too much Mexican food, you know? And it seems like every time you meet somebody, it's just like, oh, you're nice. They say nice things. You build a friendship. And then at a certain point, they say, you have to change. You need to change. Okay, how exactly? Well, you just need to make your life more convenient for me. You need to accommodate me more than you do. Okay, exactly how? We need to eat meals together, and you need to eat what I want to eat sometimes. I go, yeah, but do we really need to eat together? You know, I guess we could, but it's just going to be poop in a few hours. Why don't you eat what you want to eat? Anyway, look, this is stupid. This recording is stupid. I get it. It's stupid. Complaining. I hate it when people complain. I hate these kinds of posts on the internet. What I'm going to be doing, the future of this channel. Skip. Do not recommend channel. I literally do that. When I see people do the titles, why I'm quitting Facebook. Fuck you. You don't need to announce it. Goodbye. You know? I don't need your preambles. I don't need any of that shit. So, but here I am kind of doing that. But I kind of just have a half sincere question. And because I don't like the idea of turning off comments on videos, because I don't know, this is part of my high double standards or low double standards, whatever you want to call them. When people have their comments disabled, I go, fuck you. If you don't want to hear what I have to say, I don't want to hear what you have to say. Fuck you. Yet, I never got to comment on Tears for Fears albums when I was listening to them, or Stevie Wonder, you know, when I was listening to that art. I don't get to live comment to the builder of this house, or the guy that made my guitar or my ukulele. You know, my input, my direct input doesn't go anywhere if I do that. But for some reason, you know, with the internet, if we make something or think of an idea, suddenly we put it out there and completely random people not random, whoever YouTube decides to allow to see the content, whoever they push it out to, you know, when they get out of the way, they say who. Anyway, the point I'm trying to get to is, like, I was going, you know, we've all been talking, like, how did this new algorithm work? What do they do? It seems like suddenly I'm being matched with people that kind of agree with me and think the same way as I do. You know, I'm thinking this because I try to be positive. But then I realized, oh, shit. You know, I made this video this morning, or this recording this morning, about Erica Kirk, defending Erica Kirk. And it's like crickets and pushback. You know, fuck you, Berkeley, you're dumb. You said yesterday, trust your senses, you know, all this misunderstanding and misquoting of what I've been saying, which is trust your senses, your fingers. Can you touch something? Can you see it with your own eyeballs? Not off a screen, but the way I'm looking at my piano right now. There is nothing between me and my piano. It's right there. The squirrel right now, waiting for me to feed it, that I'm seeing, the only thing between me and the squirrel is the glass. I'm directly connected to it, looking at an airplane, The little piece of tape that I hung down from the top of my window, because when it starts to rain really hard, there's one drip, and if I just take a piece of tape and I tape from the top where the drip is to the window, then it just rolls to the window and down, and I don't need to do it. I don't need to fix it. There's nothing there. It's just no filter, That's the senses. The sense I'm feeling right now when I am touching my dog with my foot. I can feel her fur underneath my foot. It's those senses, not. I think maybe Dum Dum might be a lizard. Something's weird about Dum Dum. Might be a lizard. Not the sense that somebody's lying or whatever. Look, those kinds of senses are fine too. Intuition, gut feeling. But your gut feeling can be manipulated very easily. If I want to, could manipulate your gut feeling. You might think that you're impervious to it, but I know I could. I could just, with music, I could introduce a low hum under what I'm saying. I could introduce a discordant chord underneath what I'm saying. So a stack of perfect fourths, I could introduce it, and there'd be a sense of dream. It's not hard to manipulate people's emotions. That's what artists do. This is why this whole week we've been talking about Rob Reiner and the communists that did manipulate us with all the TV shows and sent us down a path of hating ourselves. Well, I'm speaking for white men, of hating ourselves, of doubting ourselves, of thinking of ourselves as buffoons, in relinquishing our duties as people to lead, as patriarchs. Some of us didn't even become fathers because of this. That's what I'm suspecting. That's the whole idea. So I'm realizing that this week with these new, I don't know, it feels a little bit dark. Pardon me. Don't let me bum you out. Turn it off. If I told a guy this morning, I said, I won't be bummed if you unsubscribe. I won't. I won't be sad. I won't be sad. Well, I have to admit that over the last week, being matched with new subscribers has given me a little bit of hope. Not for a career or anything like that, but just, okay, great. I'm not the only person. And I had been going on that. I really have. You can go back and listen to some of my things. I talk a lot about how, a lot of people talk about being shadow banned and this and that. And I haven't been really confront that this week because usually when people talk about being shadow banned and stuff, I always just say, I don't know that I've been shadow banned. I think that my views are unpopular. They don't fit into a category. So it was never a surprise to me when I get crickets. It's never been a surprise. Like, that's the way I've felt my whole life. Almost my whole life, not entire life, but for the most part, I've always felt like, well, yeah, I'm the only one that thinks like me. I get sometimes people that think like me on one thing, but not on other things, but it's always been kind of I don't want to use the word lonely life because that kind of implies that I don't want to be lonely, but I enjoy my solitude. I really do. Not everything about it. Sometimes I do like to be with other people, but there's a difference between solitude and loneliness, a total difference. Loneliness implies a longing, and that longing is something that I rarely experience, and when I do experience it, it can be typically satiated by just a phone call to a friend, or, and then I can go back to enjoying my solitude. But, when all of a sudden this algorithm shift and you think, wait, it's been making me think, so Facebook is where I have, 6,000 friends. And I used to even have more than that until I started defending Donald Trump and conservatives. When I started defending them, San Francisco and all the people that knew me for my art and stuff were like, fuck you, you flipped on us, you damn Republican, you damn Nazi, So, but now that this little algorithmic tweak has brought in these new people, and the comment section is pretty thoughtful, long people, people taking the time to tell stories, and, and I've been kind of impressed. I've been like, wow. And it makes me think, all right, so the audience is out there, the people are out there, the tribe is out there, and either there wasn't a mechanism to put them together, or they were actively keeping us apart. And without the transparency, they don't tell us what the algorithms are, we're left to just imagine, But all along the way, I've been giving them the benefit of the doubt and kind of resisting the shadow ban aspect by just saying, I don't think Facebook owes me an audience. I don't think YouTube owes me an audience. I don't think X owes me an audience. They own their platforms. They can do with them what they want to. I don't like bait and switch. I don't like it when people, and in fact, I would propose laws to prevent somebody from saying we're a social platform for it's like, fuck you. If you're going to say you're the town square, you got to act like the town square. And in the town square, I can go and say whatever the fuck I want, just as long as I'm not, punching somebody in the face or waving my dick around, So don't tell me you're the town square if I can't do that. Fuck you. False advertising suits should be how that works. But anyway, I've been kind of resisting that and just kind of going, okay. Yeah, nobody gives a fuck. They don't like my opinions. Facebook, they all loved me for my naked lady art, And then in the pandemic, they all loved me because I got new friends. The old ones all hated me, and the new ones that came along were these people that were pure anti-vaxxers like me. I was just screaming and yelling, "Don't comply! Don't comply! Don't comply!" And so I got a new audience there, but a lot of them are really kind of hardcore Christians. And I've been like, okay, I got to make friends with the Christians again. I am kind of Christian. But, I post these same videos on Facebook, and I got one or two people that regularly listen to them. And I don't know, I have no idea, no clue if other people even see them in their feed. For all I know, people don't even see them. The only place they exist is if people come to my profile exactly and look at them, and find them that way. But even then, I still go, but Facebook's a scroll platform. It's not a place where people look for long form content. It's for people that like memes, and I dump a lot of memes there. And the memes get a lot of attention. But the recordings, no, very little. But I get it. And I don't post to X anymore, because I got 0 eyeballs there, even though I once had a large audience for my art. They all hated me. And I think, well, if I were a robot and I was looking at this account, I would go, this account has 5,000 people on it that follow him, and they all hate his guts. You know? Because they followed me for my naked lady pictures. And then I start talking about tribalism, this, defending Donald Trump. Oh, Lord. Can you imagine defending Donald Trump to a bunch of people that came to me looking for funny pictures with naked ladies in them? So it makes sense. I just go, yeah, of course the robots would decide that. Makes perfect sense. Because I pulled a bait and switch, kind of. I didn't really, but it's fair that somebody might think that. It's like, dude, you put yourself out here as some kind of counterculture, 2-bit, low-rent Hugh Hefner, and now you're sitting here fucking preaching to me about finding God and what God is, and, lecturing me about how God is reality and consequences and all this fucking shit you say. I don't want to hear that. Just fucking give me more naked ladies. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear about your mom and your sister and your 18 brothers and sisters. Who gives a shit? I get it. I go, okay, I get it. I get it. But now, this is the first time I ever had an audience that seems like like-minded people. Not all, but some. That's what I've been thinking for the last week, since that first Rob Reiner post and people came in. They've been sticking around for the analysis about communism, Norman Lear, fucking Henry Fonda and shit, Joe McCarthy. People have been really nice, but then I make that Erica Kirk post this morning, and everybody flew away, and I went, oh, yeah. I know what it was. It's not really algorithmic magic. It was that I was attacking. I spent the week attacking communists, leftists, Marxists. I was attacking them, And I thought, that's what it was. That's what it is. The fight. Duh. Merkley. Duh. That's what social media is. You get points for being angry, for being indignant, and you get points when you attack people, when you prosecute or persecute them. That's when you get points. If you attack a famous person and prosecute a famous person, if you throw stones at the king or throw stones at a celebrity, that is what the robots like. They like that. Yes, more of that. You go in X, that's what it is. Attack, attack, attack. Facebook feed, attack, attack, attack. But as soon as I go in and defend, and this is where I always lose my audience, or this is where it turns into crickets, or people being mad at me. As soon as I start to defend a popular person, if you defend a person with power or influence or money, doesn't matter. They just have to have money, fame, popularity. If you defend them, people hate it. Not everybody, obviously, but people generally hate it. That's what gets me in trouble. In the Me Too movement, I was always defending the people that were being attacked. I ended up defending Donald Trump. If people are being, and I'm, in the last week, I've been defending Nick Reiner, not really, but that's the idea is I was, by attacking Rob Reiner, Norman Lear, Carl Reiner, all those people, Jane Fonda, everybody, by prosecuting them, I'm kind of roundabout way defending the little guy. You know? I don't know. And that's what it kind of seems like. And I don't want to, that's just kind of what I saw. And I thought, oh man, okay, here we go. You know, I certainly don't plan on turning this channel into the attack channel. You know, I try to call them as I see them. And I don't really care if somebody's famous or not famous or whatever. I like to just try to look at the evidence that I can see with my own eyeballs, you know, and relate it with my own experience, which is my experience. How have I dealt with the world, you know? And call them as I see them. And when I see people making wild accusations and you know, things that they imagined are terrible about a person, I tend to step in with my self-righteousness and whatever and just go, hey man, what the fuck makes you so fucking great? That's literally the default thought that I have when I see somebody soapboxing and cursing and disparaging another human being. And this is where I like to say that I have really high double standards because, of course, I spent the last week studying and watching and trying to unravel this Rob Reiner stuff, you know? But the ripple is, of course, he spent his whole life attacking regular people. So even in my brain, I'm trying to figure out, well, how do you build a defense for Rob? Well, you look at Carl. How was he raised? Carl Reiner. Anyway, I'm digressing here, but yeah, it is quite curious how the two different things, and this is why I'm having a trouble with the new, I don't know, just the new eyeballs and earballs listening to this stuff, as I'm feeling like, okay, great, shit. I'm just about, it feels like, here we go. I'm not just starting one more dysfunctional relationship. I'm starting 700 dysfunctional relationships, you know? Because I have a hard time just ignoring. I'm stupid. I'm a stupid person, okay? I'm not just saying that. Like, when I see a person comment, I feel like I have to comment back. Of course, I don't have to. It's not how the internet works, but I just feel like, well, the manners are that if somebody... I wore fucking sunglasses out at night for years on the San Francisco scene, and people thought, oh, what a fucking douchebag. Point taken. Not even going to try to defend it. But the reason why is because I have a very hard time ignoring somebody once I've made eye contact with them. And I have this terrible inclination, if I walk into a room, to spot the person who feels the most uncomfortable, the person that's being left out, you know, and I'll see them, and that story, for whatever, their story becomes more important to me or whatever. It's savior complex. You know, I was raised with that kind of, you know, thought that, you know, you're supposed to be a host, people are supposed to feel good, you know. But what would happen is if I lock eyes with that person, then I feel accountable to that person, you know? And I'm not good at looking at somebody and then just looking away because it feels cold, it feels wrong, you know, to just go make eye contact with somebody and just look away like, fuck you, you're not good enough for me, that kind of shit, you know? Never felt good with that. So I would always get locked into these dysfunctional relationships where I'm sitting here trying to host somebody and make their experience better, when really there's often a reason why they're by themselves and nobody likes them, you know? It's like I'm taking on the project. And then my life was shitty, so I found that if I wore sunglasses, they wouldn't know if I made eye contact with them. They wouldn't know. And so it kind of like, oh, Now I can just kind of go about my business, you know? By the way, it didn't work because what the downside of that is they don't, if you're wearing sunglasses, people don't know that you're not interested in their story. They can't see in your eyes that you're desperately wanting to leave. And I have this problem where I grin. I'm a grinner. This is the other thing about Erica Kirk. People going, oh, well, she acted like that. I go, she's fucking acting like me, God damn it. You put me in public and I try to put on a brave face and I try to be pleasant and smile and hi and, hey, what's going on? Oh, I'm going to say something funny now. I'm going to come up with a quip, you know, and be a clown, you know. I'm dressed like a fucking clown, you know. When you see a guy that's dressed like a clown, by the way, with a stupid outfit on and stuff, you can pretty much just guarantee that the guy is probably shy and insecure, because the outfit is what it does. It just says, hey, here's a reason for you to talk to me so I don't have to approach you. You know? Anyway, I'm kind of just going off track, but this is just kind of reminding me about all that shit, about why I hang out with pigeons and squirrels. Because, you know, I don't like sitting around attacking everybody. But I feel like to get along in society, it's more important. I've been saying this for years, but its meaning is growing different as I get older. But I think in order to, if you want to find a tribe and want to find a group in life, a social group, you're more likely to bond with people over things that they hate and people that they hate than on things that you like. You know? Less likely to bond with people over a shared enjoyment of a bunch of things. It's more likely to bond when you have a common enemy. An enemy talking shit. This is why, you know, humans are so hard to hang out with, because they're the only species I know that I've witnessed that, well, I don't know because I don't speak the languages of ants and bees and shit. But they seem to be the only group that can sit around in a room and go, psh, 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 psh. Oh, that person, they suck. Did you see, have you seen do you see what they're doing? How they're raising their child? Can you believe they're doing this? Can you believe they're doing, oh, I just can't believe it. Oh, and did you see the way they acted? That was so phony. The way she smiled. She's so full of shit. Psh, 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 psh. Yeah, and did you know, oh, you got to hear this story. And I realized that this last week, my channel has been kind of that. Talking shit about Conan. Talking shit about Norman. Talking shit about Rob Reiner. Talking shit, talking shit, talking shit, talking shit. You know? And along comes an audience. Hey, keep talking shit, brother. We love it. I just didn't notice that that's what was happening. And maybe it didn't happen. Maybe I'm overreacting. But as soon as I defended Erica Kirk, it's just like, oh, okay, we don't like you anymore. She's pretty. She's on stage. She has a lot of money. Fuck her. She's a fake ass bitch. She's an Israeli spy. She had 2 babies from this man because she really wanted to kill him. She murdered him with fake Egypt planes. She met with the military a day earlier. Now she's acting. Okay. Okay, guys. Whew. That's a lot. That's a lot. Do you have any evidence of this? Oh, what do you mean? Just look at her. Anyway, So yeah, that's my struggle. I don't even know why I made this recording. Nobody needs to know about this shit. But there it is. I'm struggling. I don't know. I wish there was a way with YouTube that I could just turn off all the stats without feeling badly about it. I know there's a way I can turn off comments. I know that, well, there isn't anything physically stopping me from checking the numbers and checking to see if somebody commented. You know, if there was a function that said people can comment, but you can't comment back and you can't see their comments, you know, and you can only toggle it once. You can never toggle it back. You know, you can turn it on. Make me blinded from the people. Let them have their conversations below. Because I think, you know, people, if that function exists, it's weird when Hillary Clinton turns off the comments on her shit. You know, it's just like, what the fuck, lady? You're saying fucking bullshit and you don't let people, this is a platform where people can talk about your shit and hold you accountable. So I don't feel good about just turning them off completely. I have no problem blocking people that laugh, that use laugh emoticons as a sign of superiority. That's a no-go zone for me. If somebody does that, there's no way they're going to bring value to your life. Let me just tell you that. There's absolutely zero way that a person that uses a laughing emoji to indicate superiority, rather than arguing, rather than debating or presenting anything of substance, evidence, thoughts, analysis, personal stories, if that laughing emoticon comes out, that ha ha, if that comes out, if you don't block them immediately, you're dumb. If you get sucked in to a conversation with a person that does that, that's on you. And I've done it because I am an idiot. But I'm getting pretty good at just going, block, block, no value. Thank you for putting the laughing emoji. That is the perfect sign that you are an idiot. You may as well be flashing a red light on your fucking stupid face that says, it's the fucking dunce cap of the universe. So if you lead with a laughing emoji, goodbye forever. Never want to meet you, never want to see you, wish I never saw you in the first place, that kind of thing. Anyway, what I'm saying is that if you all unsubscribe and you run out of the room and it just looks like how it looked like a week and a half ago, my feelings will be slightly, I'll deal with it, I'll recover, and I'll get back to doing the same shit I've been doing for years. Having said that, thanks for listening. Unnecessary outro song to totally waste more